Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to discuss about something called as mule event. So without wasting any further time, let's move ahead and see what mule event is. So mule event is an object structure generated at source. What it means is that we have seen the flow in our last section, which every flow has the source section. So whenever any request is received in the source section, it has this mule event object generated, and this is generated based on the values from the incoming request. We will see the structure of mule event in a short amount of time, but at this moment what you can note here is that whenever any request reaches to mule application from outside source or from some other mule application, that incoming request is always converted to mule event. Now this mule event is passed to the processors which are available in your flow. At this point of time we have only seen the logger processors, and in the coming section we are going to see further more processors. So what we can remember at this point of time is that the event which is generated at source, that event is passed through different processors which are present in the processor section. Next, it travels to the components inside the mule application, and it follows the application logic which is implemented throughout the flow. And lastly, mule event is immutable. There are certain cases in which the mule event which is traveling through the flow gets changed, but in that case the new mule event instance is generated, and the at any point of time you cannot change the values of that mule event. So let's see the mule event structure. So you can see that every mule event has two sections: message and the variables. Now first let's talk about these variables. So these are created within your flow or during the execution of your flow. So this variable part is not something which is sent by the external application, rather it is something which is created within your mule application. Now let's come to the message section, and uh, message section is also divided into two parts: attributes and payload. Now attribute consists of the metadata which is received in the incoming request. So in last example we had seen that source was HTTP listener. In the same way, we can have source as database listener, we can have the file listener. So in these cases, depending on the kind of listener, different metadata information associated with that incoming request gets added in this attributes part. For example, in case of HTTP request, the attributes or the attributes will contain the metadata like headers, query parameter, URI parameter. In case of file operation, the attribute will consist of the information related to file, like the timestamp, the size of the file, and name and path of the file, etc. And lastly, payload is nothing but the actual payload which is received in the incoming request. Now again, coming back to our previous example, in case of HTTP request, it would be the body which is sent in that particular HTTP request. So as you know, in case of HTTP put, patch or post, we send this body. So that body becomes the part of mule payload. So it will be like under event, under message, it would be in the payload section. Similarly, in case of a database operation, it would be the database rows, or in case of a file operation, it would be the contents of the file. So similarly, the actual payload would always get populated within this payload section. So now let's see one example, and let's see how that translation happens from the HTTP request to mule event. So we had this kind of a request in our last section, wherein we had the headers. We did not have a payload, but you know the HTTP request can have headers and payload. Now what happens is that whenever this HTTP request comes to Mule application, it gets converted into the Mule event. And how that conversion happens? First of all the headers, those headers move to attribute part. Now, one thing you would like to note here is that attribute does not only contain headers, rather it contains much more information than what is being received in the headers. I mean, it will also contain the HTTP information like host, the URI, absolute URI, etc. Similarly, whatever payload which has been sent in the incoming request it is moved to the mule message payload part. And the last section, which is the variable section, here there won't be anything, because as I said, variables are set during execution of the flow and not something which is set by the incoming request. So with this, now let's go to Anypoint Studio and let's see the mule event by ourselves. So this is the Mule application that we had created in our last demo, and we are going to update the same Mule application. So now, uh, one thing to note here is that there are two ways in which you can view the event data. One is during design or development time, and second is during runtime. So when I say during the development time or the design time is when you are creating this Mule application, so you can check the contents of Mule event during your development phase. And the other is when you are running your Mule application and when it is processing any incoming request, so you can check the event data for that particular incoming process. This is called as checking the Mule event data during runtime. So this is what exactly we are going to do. But before we proceed, let me update this particular application. First, let me delete this two additional log messages, as those are not required now. Now, what this flow used to do is that it accepts the HTTP request and it just logs the static string into log. Now what I'm going to do is that I want to send the response to advanced REST client, so that because till this point of time we are not sending any response back to the client and we want to send that response. So how to do that is we need to select the processor called as set payload. It is again a part of core module, so let me drag and drop it over here. Again, if you are interested in details of this activity, you can go to help, and from there you can click on this particular URL link. So now coming to the configurations for set payload. So it has the display name and the value setting. So for value setting, you can see there are two modes available, and this is kind of a switch. If you click it, it will move to the literal mode. If you again click it, it will move to expression mode. Now, what these two different modes are, we are going to discuss a bit later. But at this point of time, we will only use the literal mode. So let me click on it to move to literal mode. And here I am gonna give one static message saying hello world. Now what I am trying to do is here is that in the response, this hello world would be sent as the payload. And in this log message, I have kept it as empty because what Anypoint Studio does is whenever whenever it finds that the message setting or the message field is set as empty, by default it logs the complete mule event, and that is what we wanted to do. We wanted to see the mule event, and that is why I have kept it as empty. Now let's again go back to our uh, the purpose of our demo, and that is to check the mule event data. So now as we are developing it, let's see how we can check the mule event data. So I have clicked on this set payload, and you can see on the right hand side By default, it has automatically generated mule message structure. It has payload, attributes, and variables. We have seen it in just few minutes before that mule event consists of two parts, mule message and variables. And mule message again contains two parts, payload and attributes. Now in this case, it has populated some HTTP attributes by default because Anypoint Studio knows that it is gonna receive the input from a HTTP listener. That is why it has already populated some HTTP attributes. It doesn't know what kind of payload it would be, hence it is showing it as any. And variables are empty because we haven't created any. Now let's go to output tab. So you can see one difference here. In output section, it is showing payload as string. Why it is showing it as string is because it knows that in set payload we are setting it to a string value, and hence now it knows that payload is not of any type, rather it is of a string type. Hence it is showing the value as string. Similarly, in case of log message, you can see the same things are available in input. Now we are not changing anything in log message, hence input and output both will show the same kind of elements in this mule message structure. So this is how we can see the data during our design time using DataSense Explorer. Now let's run this mule application and check how we can see the event data during runtime. So let me run this and save it. So as I have said, first time it takes a few seconds to get the project deployed, and once it is in running or deployed state, whatever changes you want to do, you can just change it in the mule flow and just save it, and it will get automatically deployed without any need of restarting. So flow is the mule application is deployed. Let us send one request from advanced REST client. So let's send the request. So you can see now hello world is received in the response. Let's go back to Anypoint Studio and see the console logs. So let me just drag it a bit up. So you can see that this logger has logged payload as hello world, and these are the attributes which are available at this logger activity, which contains request path, method, and then again the default host header, query parameter, and URI parameter are empty because we are not sending anything. And these attributes have been flown from this HTTP connector to this set payload activity and to this logger activity. So let's do one thing. Let's send one header from ARC. So let me add one header over here. Let me name it as custom, and let me give the value as test header, and let me send this request. There is no change in the response, it is still hello world. And when we check the logs, we can see that yeah, this is the latest one. So we can see that in headers part we have custom with the value as test header. So you can see the header which we had sent using the HTTP, using the advanced REST client, is being translated into a mule event, and it has been put under this attribute section. Similar way, the query parameters and URI parameters also get translated into the particular mule event placeholder. So let's add some query parameter and URI parameter. So let's add the query parameter. How we can add query parameter? We can give question, and after that I think I have already some ready to use value which I can use. So I have added two query parameters, name with value as John and surname with value as Stark. So let's send this, and now you can see in query parameters both the name and surname are visible, and same is the case that will happen if we send something in URI parameter. So thank you for attending this section, and I'll see you in the next section. Happy learning.